All right, Ashley, what's the next topic today?
The next one is from Alejandro Saravia. Greetings from Chile. Finally, we now know the release date of Dune, November 20th, 2020. I can't wait for this epic film. However, we must consider the reality. Average moviegoers don't know what Dune is about. Last Denis sci-fi film was a box office flop, and the studio will spend at least 200 million for Dune. So do you think that they'll want a more popcorn blockbuster action movie than the slow burn kind of movie that Denis usually makes? Gracias, and bring on the filthy.
You know what, Rob? He brings up an interesting question, and he brings up an interesting point. Fact of the matter is, not a lot of people out there today, not a lot of the general movie-going audience, because even the original Dune film was before a lot of people's time.
84.
Yeah, are even like aware of Dune. Although I don't think that's, a lot of movies that come out that aren't sequels, people aren't aware of it at first, and then they find out about it. But here's the interesting thing with this, Robert. When he brings up an interesting fact, Denis Villeneuve, who is kind of universally accepted as one of the best directors in the business today. Like, you're talking guys like Christopher Nolan today, you're talking guys like Denis Villeneuve, like they're all up there in that conversation, right? But the fact of the matter is, Denis has not had what you would call big box office success up until this point. As a matter of fact, if we look at the last number of films that he's done, look at Blade Runner 2049. It made $259 million. That was a monumental flop for the studios. They lost a lot of money on Blade Runner 2049. Also, Arrival, $203 million. Sicario. A lot of people know Sicario. You might be shocked to find out that worldwide it only made $84 million. Enemy made $3 million. Granted, that was only a limited release film that he did with Jake Gyllenhaal, of course. And my personal favorite film of Villeneuve's is Prisoners, that he did with Hugh Jackman as well, that made only $122 million. So when you're looking at a filmmaker like this that we all kind of see, agree, and acknowledge, this dude cranks out fantastic content. We're now moving into, Rob, a movie like Dune. A film that is going to be, like Blade Runner, very expensive to make. They're stacking an insane cast along the way as they're doing it. And they're going to have presumably a massive marketing budget as well. Should the studios and should fans be concerned that, hey, can they even make enough return on this to get, because they're talking about this film maybe being in two parts, can they get enough of a return on this to even get the second part made or get future things made? Or is this going to be, unfortunately, another flop on Denis Villeneuve's resume? How do you see this?
Well, look, one of the things about Dune is a very political movie, and it's a movie about big ideas, and it doesn't focus on, it's not an action franchise. There's certainly large epic action scenes and battle scenes and visual effects scenes. But for the most part, I mean, I would equate it more to Game of Thrones in that you've got all of these machinations of all of these different factions working for and against one another. And then you'll have the battle of Blackwater Bay, or you'll have a dragon attack or something like that. But it's...
Oops. We seem to have lost Robert, ladies and gentlemen.
Man.
So, oh no.
Question mark.
And it's just a big question mark there for Robert. We lost Robert midstream. Apparently, it looked like he was looking away from his camera as if something was happening. I don't know. Maybe he got dusted.
He broke the internet. His entire rant right there was about to the internet couldn't handle it.
Rob broke the internet. And hold a second, I think there's a possibility he might be back now. Rob, are you back with us now?
I was gesticulating and hit my keyboard. So I apologize.
Yeah, you were too into it.
What I was going to say was the Battle of Blackwater Bay, and you have Denis and her dragon attacks, but the film is really about the people. It's not so much about the epic battles. And even though that's a part of it, I think the cast that they're assembling is what the attraction to Dune is. It's a story. It's one of my favorite science fiction novels. It's a story with the big ideas, and it's going to. I have to watch my hand. Get excited talking about Dune.
Quite frankly, I don't want to know where your hands are. I don't know. I just don't want to know where your hands are.
But that's what I'm excited about. I mean, I think it's one of the headiest brews of mix of philosophy and politics and sci-fi action adventure and the big ideas. And I think that's what's attracted Denis Villeneuve to the material. And his other movies, aside from Blade Runner, haven't been hugely expensive. I mean, Arrival probably was, but Arrival was the same thing. Arrival was this epic sci-fi story that was really a personal story about Amy Adams and her life. And it had great effect sequences, but it was not a $200 million movie. It was a much smaller, quieter film. And I think that's what they're looking towards for Dune, that it's going to be epic. It's going to feel epic. It's going to take you on a big journey, but it's not going to break the bank.
But can't you say, wouldn't it be a fair thing to say, though? Because you just said a lot of very poetic things that convinced me that this movie's going to be good. You've got me convinced that this movie's going to be good.
I think it's going to be good.
It comes back down to the question, though. This is going to be an expensive movie. And
yes, no doubt.
Not to hammer the point too much, but like the fact of the matter is, when you run down this list, Denis Villeneuve has not yet shown, and I think this is fair to say, he has not yet shown that he can direct a film in such a way that it brings in a large audience, right? I think that's fair to say. We have not seen him do that yet. With a movie like Dune that is going to be supremely expensive, with a movie like Dune that is going to cost a huge amount when it comes to marketing and all that kind of stuff, can this movie attract audiences in the numbers that it's going to need to do to avoid being considered a big disappointment financially for the studio and maybe kill any possibilities for it becoming a franchise long term? Because there's a lot of Dune books, man. There's a lot. Yeah. There's some good stories out there. They're making this movie thinking franchise. Can it do that? Can it get that money, as you were kind of pointing out? Can it do that?
I think it can. I think, look, people want to see great, epic entertainment. That's everybody wants to be entertained. Dune has a huge reputation. The book was published in 1965. So many people have read it over the years. It's so influential. We do have 2 miniseries, and we have the David Lynch Dune, and I think that it's not like people are unaware of it. And look, younger audiences, they will be educated. Younger audiences are watching the internet. As soon as the trailer for Dune drops, they're going to watch it. They're going to see it. There's a lot of great talent involved in the movie. I mean, watching some of these conversations that are going to happen between these characters when they're dealing with the big issues and the idea of the Fremen and the sandworms and the battle between the House Harkonnen and House Atreides and the Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV. I mean, it's great stuff. When they show this in a trailer, people are going to get excited. I guarantee you they will.
Watch your keyboard, Robert. You're getting too excited again.
I know.
The hands start
I'm
pounding.
sorry. I'm getting I'm bouncing in my chair. I've scooched I hit it with actually my elbow, and I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry, viewers. I won't do it again.
All right. Let's move on now to the third email of the day.